Good afternoon and welcome back to Buzz. I'm Grace Okins.
And I'm Vishal Sinath, and this is our buzzing news broadcast.
Here are your headlines. Storm Chandra brought in heavy rain across Dorset, causing flooding and disruption. Dorset remains among the top 10 safest areas in the country and has had another decrease in crime. 12 Indian soldiers who died in World War I have been commemorated at Bournemouth Cenotaph.
For the last 4 days, communities across Dorset have been affected by severe rainfall and flooding. Weather alerts are currently still in place, with wellies on, Maisie Edwin reports.
Flooding has caused disruption across Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole over the last few days following Storm Chandra. There have been a number of flood warnings issued, with the worst being a danger to life. After the River Stour burst its banks on Wednesday, the surrounding area was submerged in water. In Itford Bridge Home Park, this meant that residents were evacuated and emergency services were on the scene. Councillor Andy Hadley spoke on their efforts.
We've done what we can, and the team have done what they can personally to see that they're okay and to look after them, make sure their pets are okay as well, because that's obviously, for some, that's a really important thing. And to try and work with others to make sure that they're kept safe.
The residents of the home park have not returned home yet, as high levels of water remain in the area. Elsewhere on the River Stour, at the Stour Valley Nature Reserve, floodwater consuming the grounds made it look like a lake. However, locals weren't put off by the rising water, and many felt there was something beautiful in the way nature had taken over.
A complete circle in nature. In the summer, everybody's rushing about, enjoying themselves, dogs. It just shows you the resilience of nature, where one season to another, everything changes.
It draws the wildlife further inland, which is easier for me. Well, it's meant to be easier for people like me to take photographs.
Steve Charnley, lead countryside ranger for Stour Valley, described the usual scene when water levels are high.
So that would be steps down to a river, and then in the distance there where the trees are, that's the other bank of the river. The other side of the river is just open fields that are farmland. And as you can see, it's more akin to a lake at the moment. So if you didn't know the area, you think maybe that this was a lake rather than a river.
I'm here at Stour Valley Nature Reserve, which is one of the areas that's been affected by the flooding over the past few days. As you can see to the left of me, there is very high levels of water, but this is nothing compared to just yesterday when the water was all the way up to the sign. I've spoken with staff who work here who have said the levels here are not expected to lower for quite some time, as we're forecasted heavy rain for the next 2 weeks.
I think this is probably in my 10 years working here, this is probably the highest level I've ever seen the river. But as I say, it's very natural. We keep an eye on it because obviously we just need to see it ebbing and flowing. But because it's normal to us, it's a day-to-day occurrence. Mainly it's answering questions from people who come down and they're surprised that the river level has come up. And they're concerned that it's flooding and that there's some kind of danger. But all the houses along here are all up on the bank, so they're all safe. The barn is up a big bank as well, so it's never come up that high. And as you can hear around us, the wildlife love it. So it makes for a more peaceful spot in our view. So it's good. It's all a good thing.
Here are our national and international headlines. The Prime Minister Keir Starmer is in China for talks with President Xi Jinping, focusing on trade and global cooperation. This is the first time a British Prime Minister has been in China since 2018. 2 men have been arrested as part of an investigation into the dumping of thousands of tons of domestic waste in Oxfordshire. The environmental agency arrested a 69-year-old man from a property in Hampshire and a 54-year-old in Slough. And Dame Sarah Mullally was confirmed as the Archbishop of Canterbury. She is the first female Archbishop in 1,400 years. In 2004, she was given an honorary doctorate from Bournemouth University in nursing and midwifery. Now, here are our news features.
This week, a new plaque was laid at the Cenotaph in Bournemouth Gardens to commemorate and remember the lives of 12 Indian soldiers who died in World War I. While Bournemouth may be a young town, its history is deeper than many people realise. Grace Kehoe was there. 4 years of planning later, inspired by Friends of Soldiers and with funding from BCP and their GoFundMe page, Monday's ceremony saw the BPC Indian Community Association and local leaders unveiling the newly laid plaque to honour 12 Indian soldiers that died in World War I. During the First World War, over 1.5 million men from undivided India volunteered to serve with the British Indian Army. More than 74,000 made the ultimate sacrifice, yet their extraordinary contribution is often overlooked in British remembrance and history. In 1914 to 1915, the building that is now the Town Hall and BCP Civic Centre was the number 8A Indian General Hospital, where hundreds of wounded Indian soldiers were treated far from home. Tragically, 12 of them died of their wounds and were laid to rest in Bournemouth cemeteries.
The story of the Indian soldiers on the South Coast is the true story of this country, of how the doors were open and they were welcomed in with the binding mission to fight for our freedom.
Ramesh Lal, one of the founders of the BPC Indian Community Association, reflected on the history between Indian people and Bournemouth.
So today's event marks a culmination of honouring them and also commemorating their sacrifices and that they will be remembered forever and ever.
Poonam Paranspe, sat with co-organiser of the event, Anjali, told me why celebrating Indian culture should be put in the spotlight.
I think it's just not important for Bournemouth, it's in general important for the whole world. The whole world is becoming so diverse. You know, we have so many people, and like I say and teach in schools, we don't have any difference between our bloods. You know, yours is red, mine is red. So we got to respect, we got to be so inclusive, bring everybody together, teach little children what the history is all about, you know. Their sacrifices is why you are really here.
Vice-Chancellor of Bournemouth University, Alison Honour, laid a wreath at the ceremony, but not a traditional poppy wreath.
But I brought a wreath today which is in the colours of the Indian flag, just as a nod to their incredible kind of heritage and celebrating their culture, their country and their contribution to democracy and freedom.
And why do you think it's important that institutions like Bournemouth University are with the people getting involved with things like this, such as the Indian community here?
Well, we have an amazing community of Indian students and Indian staff. They're part of our community of 130 countries that we represent as a university. And I think the world really needs to kind of come together. And being part of that diverse community is important to me, as this is the place I live. And I think it's really important to our students and staff as well. And as a university, we celebrate that and we support it.
Thank you so much.
Poonam Paranspe has read out the names of the 12 Indian soldiers that died.
Imam Ali Khan, Buddha, Lachman Singh, Kesar Singh, Bishan Singh, Har Singh Negi, Gajle Pun, Munsha Singh, Hemant Singh Gurun, Santaram, Dilmani Thapa, Meher Khan.
At the going down of the sun, we will remember them.
This is a story of people, community, celebration and remembrance. Grace Kehoe, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
Bournemouth University launched its 10-year strategy and rebrand this week. Its objectives include creating a safe community that students of all different backgrounds can be proud of. Our reporter Luke Hills has more on the story.
Bournemouth University's new strategy and rebrand focuses on creating an environment where students and staff can thrive. The organisation aims to work on celebrating positive values such as curiosity, ambition and inspiration across the next 10 years. Another of the strategy's objectives is to create a positive sense of community at the university, where people can feel free to express themselves openly. Dr. Emanuela Ajime Akeriafor, the co-chair of the organisation's Race Equality Network, explained how the strategy aims to promote equality, diversity and inclusion.
The people and culture aspect of it speaks to the EDI element. It speaks to equality, it speaks to diversity, and it also speaks to inclusion, and not just whether staff is from a different country, but also staff within us, like in terms of the identities and also individualities of staff, and recognizing how important and strong we need to come together as a community to help support that and help people to feel safe and respected.
She also emphasised the impact it will have on attracting more people to the university.
Again, you find that EDI is within the elements of recruitment, because you find that so many staff and students that we try as much as possible to recruit want to see that the university actually does have a working, actionable EDI element, both in our policies, both in our actions, and both in our practice as well.
Vice-Chancellor and CEO Professor Alison Oller expressed how important a positive culture at the university is.
Our people and culture is super important. We can't deliver any of that if we don't have a good people and culture strategy. So that's about supporting training, development, career opportunities, but also around what kind of culture and community we want to be. And that sense of belonging is already here, as you can see, but we want to build on that and strengthen it, because it's a really special place to be at Bournemouth University.
She explained that she's optimistic about further improving the opportunities for students after they graduate.
They're going to be super proud of coming to Bournemouth University. I think they already are, but I actually think they're going to be well equipped. We already deliver highly skilled graduates above the sector average. They earn more than most graduates in their first year of work. We're really proud of that, but we want to do more, we want to deliver more for our students. I think in 10 years, those students are going to glance back and they're going to say, my career started at Bournemouth University.
Chief of Staff Nathaniel Hobby explained why he's hopeful that the strategy will have a lasting impact on students moving forward.
I'd hope that 10 years from now, students who come to Bournemouth University have a real sense of belonging, a real sense of belonging in the university context, but also belonging in the wider regional context as well, making the most of the environment around us. I'd hope that they're innovative, that they're curious, that they're technologically savvy, that they're able to get the skills here absolutely for the course that they've studied, but also the life skills to lead them into whatever the future holds for them.
The university's new strategy aims to enter the new age of education whilst improving the lives of students both in the present and in the future. Luke Hills, Buzz News, Bournemouth University.
Last Friday, MP Jessica Toll announced an action plan for Bournemouth Town Centre that hopes to turn it from a struggling centre to an ambitious urban paradise. Tiana Hines has the story. Ready? Action.
After many months of work, the co-created action plan by Jessica Toll in collaboration with leader of the BCP Council, Millie Earle, to improve Bournemouth Town Centre has been finalised. This plan focuses on 8 sections. The project was not only put together by Jessica and Millie, but a panel of 50 residents from all walks of life, from different ages, genders and demographics. During their meetings, they were able to talk about the challenges in the town centre to focus on the future. I spoke to the councillor, Millie Earle, on how they are planning to make the town safer.
I think there is currently a lot of work going on in the town centre, and certainly as a council we've been at the forefront of delivering that alongside our partners like the police and the Bournemouth Town Centre bid. I think that this action plan takes us to a new stage of that and allows us to work more collaboratively with even more partners as well as with residents to tackle some of the problems that people are experiencing.
Since becoming an MP, Jessica Toll has been using her time to better this town, and as the founder of the action plan, I wanted to know what this really meant to her.
It's what it means to residents in Bournemouth. And that was the genesis behind this whole project, was that there have been lots of strategies written, there have been lots of high-level panels and summits, but the consistent thing I heard from local residents was that their ideas, their concerns, their hopes for the future didn't have anywhere to go. And they just didn't feel like they were being listened to. So this panel was a way of centering residents' voices, giving them a meaningful way to engage in the future of our town and to come up with something that they jointly agreed on. And that's something that me and leader of the council, Millie Earle, could get behind as well. And we had a launch of it last Friday. It was an amazing celebration of the work, the passion, the energy that people put into it. And we invited along key local stakeholders like landlords, businesses, cultural institutions, council officers, who would all be part of it as well. So that collective responsibility was really important too. And so we've got a few flagship recommendations in there. One of the ones on safety is doing a lighting audit. So making sure that spaces are well lit, identifying any problem areas. I know that some of the local councillors, including Councillor Jamie Martin, has been looking at how we deal with the sort of back alleys in the town centre as well. And I'm looking at, in the next year, setting up a women's commission to look at issues like women's safety in the local area too.
This plan is not a timed thing, but something that will be done all the time, gradually, to make our town better. Tiana Hines, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
Camp Festival is expanding its horizons this year with an aim to display a wider range of music artists. The family-based festival wants to attract musicians that can entertain both children and adults alike. Our entertainment reporter Sam McShane is boogieing out.
Camp Festival, not your typical festival full of drink, sweat and whatever else. This festival is all about the families, with a joyous range of music, activities and experiences. Founder Rob de Bank is keen to expand the plethora of artists playing at the festival.
You know, coming back to the lineup, probably we've got Self-Esteem, who, you know, I'm really proud to have a really strong female headliner who isn't, you know, like she's not been going for like 10 or 20 years. It's a newer artist, and I feel like, I don't know if it's because we're turning 18 as a festival, I felt like being a bit braver this year and having some things on there that, you know, there will be some people who will be like, Self-Esteem, I don't really know her, but I want that to happen with the lineup from now on, that we do get a bit brave, you know, because people know Bastille, people know Fatboy Slim, Billy Ocean, but yeah, we have to make sure we're adventurous as well.
Musicians such as George Crossland aren't a usual festival act. The YouTube musician and content creator has spread fun through writing songs, DJing and creating online content on TikTok, Instagram and various other platforms for people to enjoy. His TikToks feature relatable musical numbers about his own family, aiming to draw similarities to others. Since becoming a father in 2021, George has angled his work almost entirely towards families, gaining unexpected recognition.
But she was like, well, so you got a DJ then? I was like, yeah, I'll DJ then, because I've never DJed live before. I've performed live, like original music and covers, but I've never DJed live, and I think it's going to be so much more fun. But yeah, it was so organic how this live shows has happened, and I'm like, yeah, I'm so buzzed. It's like full circle moment.
George has been asked to DJ at Festival this year and hopes that his unique entertainment style can inspire a new wave of music catered towards families. Alongside George, artists are tuning up ahead of the festival set to take place in July. Sam McShane, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
Campaigners are calling for better access to train stations across Dorset, saying too many journeys remain out of reach. The Access for All programme aims to improve accessibility nationwide. Our correspondent Lois Watts has the story.
For wheelchair users in Dorset, everyday journeys can still come with obstacles. Steps, uneven pavements and limited transport can turn simple trips into real challenges.
So quite often I travel to the Vitality Stadium, with Folkestone being the closest station to the stadium. Often I try to arrive, however I'm told that there's no accessible way to get down to the platform, as we've seen here, or there's no way to get there from Bournemouth. So often I'm given alternative routes, so I need to either make my own way via bus or taxi, which is sometimes offered by the actual train staff as well.
The Access for All programme aims to break down those barriers, improving step-free access, adapted transport and inclusive public spaces. Campaigners point out that Yett Minster is currently the only fully accessible train station in Dorset, highlighting the need for wider improvements.
The bottom line is, in the 21st century, we should be making all of our public services accessible to everyone, whatever their particular sort of disability or disadvantage or whatever it is they might have. And, you know, if you are familiar with the station, to get off that side of the platform, there is no way you can get across unless you can manage the stairs. It's an old Victorian bridge, very nice, but it's not accessible for everybody. To put in a lift would cost millions of pounds, which it doesn't really warrant, when you could have a much cheaper solution, which would be the ramp.
They say accessibility isn't about convenience, it's about independence, dignity and equal access for all. And for wheelchair users, that lack of access can have a real impact on daily life. Lois Watts, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
Chug, chug, chug.
More like sip, sip, sip. A young Bournemouth bartender won a cocktail competition. He was up against people with 15 more years of experience. Our reporter, Julia Apte, has the drinks.
Altamira Vodka Distilleries partnered with the Ivy stores to create a cocktail competition. The winner was a complete upset. An underdog, Ben Davis, an 18-year-old bartender, beat out the bar managers and supervisors to claim the win.
He kind of is just filming me and I'm just a bit like shell-shocked, like I'm not reacting. And it takes my bar manager literally like tackling me to the ground going, you did it, to actually go, what the hell, I've actually done it. So yeah, it was strange. I didn't know how to react. I'll be so real. But the photos they took are terrible because I have no idea what I'm doing.
He got his start at the Dragonfly in Ashley Cross.
There was this one bartender, his name was Josh, and I would work every single shift with him and he was just like a cocktail dictionary. We had a huge wall of different spirits, like Japanese spirits and stuff. And I'd be able to like point at one and go, what is that? And he'd give me like a full definition. He'd explain how it was made, he'd explain where it came from, the flavour profile, and I was just there like, whoa, what the hell? So whenever it was quiet, I was just asking him questions and questions and questions and just watching him make drinks. And he was incredible. And he's what like has created that passion in me for mixology and cocktail making.
Between the cost of living crisis and the new increase on alcohol's duty tax, going out for cocktails has become an impossibility for...
Put oils on the rim of the drink, we can express it into the top of the drink to add like a scent, you can smoke the glass. There's so much benefit of like getting your nose into the glass to properly enjoy that drink. Again, just with, if you're at home, just a classic old fashioned for example, it's literally just whiskey, sugar, bitters, but then express an orange peel over the top, rub around the rim of the glass, adds just like a whole new like citrusy element without having to like dilute it with any like lemon juice or actual fruit juice. It keeps that bitter like profile without diluting the alcohol and just adds like that little touch of class.
Part of what makes the Ivy in Bournemouth special are the bartender's specialty menus made seasonally inspired by the area.
My cocktail for the local page, so our local page is quite influenced by like old school, old-timey, like sweet shop sort of vibes. And I've got like a peach sort of sweet with a touch of fig as well to add that like spring sort of flavour. So it's a gin sour twist, quite similar to like a gin fizz, not as complicated, a bit simpler for us to make, with peach liqueur, gin, fig liqueur, and fig soda as well. I wanted to go heavy on the peach, but then add a bit more spring with like the fig and use some of the stuff that we have had sitting in the cellar for a while.
It completely changes it. I'm going to try to make the cocktail that every student would love, which is...
I'm just going to say it's a classic amateur sour, but we've got a little twist where we use apricot in it as well. So first off, going 50 mils of our amateur.
So tell me when.
So all the way to the top for this one, okay?
Now with this lemon juice, just got to the second line in the pot. Give it now. Next we've got our flavour, so again into the second line. It's very simple, you can make it at home. Equal parts, it's very simple, very tasty, very reasonable. Then again, second line, robotic physics. Can we just shake that? That's everything. Yeah, of course, of course.
That's amazing.
Grab one of our glasses for this one. Perfect. And then we can just smack it straight into the glass. That's what diameter says.
This season's menu has yet to come out, but whether you're making a cocktail at home or having one out, there are many ways to upgrade a cocktail. Julia Apte, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
The Thrive event has returned to Boscombe for its second year running, bringing together local communities and helping them to succeed. Our reporter Lois Watts went over to find out more.
Skills workshops, free healthcare checks and vaccines, as well as job and volunteering opportunities are all on offer at the free community event in Boscombe. Supported by the Digital Skills Hub, this event was introduced last year as part of the wider Better Boscombe initiative. BCP Council funded this event with the money provided to the area through the Towns Fund programme. Julie Borswick, an employee for the council, has been at the event to promote more volunteering from residents.
We have 49 different projects, and they're in our open spaces, in our libraries. We have Poole Park Railways, another volunteering project, in all of our museums, in our castle. Hengistbury Head, that's quite local to here as well. So we've got lots of different opportunities for people. One thing about helping the community is that it's great fun. You get to meet lots of different people. You can use your skills to share them with other people as well. But also it's about you learning new skills as well. And particularly if you're a university, it's a great way of getting out there and supporting the community they're actually living in as well.
The Digital Skills Hub is an award-winning inclusive centre for residents and business owners in the Boscombe-Bournemouth area. Lois Watts, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
It's Independent Music Venue Week. The celebration encourages artists and audience to recognise the importance of independently owned venues and the roles they play in the music industry and local community. Our reporters headed down to Chaplin's and the Cellar Bar in Bournemouth to learn about the value of this commemoration.
Everyone starts somewhere. Doesn't matter if you're doing stadium shows around the world. Everyone probably started off in a little open mic or in a little pub somewhere. We lose that. How's everyone going to make their way up? And I mean, you can sit at home doing whatever and doing songs. Then people online can do it. Until you know how it interacts with an audience, you're not going to get that experience. You lose grassroots venues. You lose all that.
Opportunities for filmmakers are always growing in Dorset, with Purbeck Film Festival being the main doorway to the industry for graduating students. Tiana Hines has been speaking to a recent winner.
The Purbeck Film Festival short film competition aims to offer up-and-coming filmmakers a platform to show and present their work to gain recognition in the industry. The 2025 winner went to student Aliyah Hussain for the heartwarming story about the value of friendship in a time of uncertainty. Justina Reynolds got the chance to interview her.
What did it mean to win the Student Short Film Award at Purbeck Film Festival?
It kind of like re-energized me. I was struggling in my course that I'm doing now as well, and like we won that festival, and I was sort of like, me and like my team, we came back with like a confidence. We were just like, okay, we've won a festival, we can do stop motion, we can do model making. It's a really nice thing. Like, it was such a lovely win.
Aliyah hopes in the future many more students follow in her footsteps and submit pieces of work to showcase their skills and to break into the film industry. Tiana Hines, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
At 4 p.m, we will have a 30-minute sports bulletin, bringing you all of the local sports news and features, including an interview with World Darts champion Scott Mitchell. We take to the skies and speak to Eddie the Eagle, and even get trotting as we have a story about show jumping. Make sure to tune in.
That's all we've got time for today. To keep up to date with all our news, go to our website buzz.bournemouth.ac.uk.